What's up, YouTube? My name is Bedivere. Welcome to another episode of Zero to Hero. We are going back in Factorio for episode 14 of our Zero to Hero playthrough, and I got an exciting one planned for you. It's probably the most searched thing regarding Factorio on YouTube, and that is advanced oil processing. Once again, if you like the video, make sure to leave a like, check that subscribe button as well as the little notification bell to keep up with up-to-date content. And I also stream every Thursday and Sunday evening / afternoon over at twitch.tv/Bedivere. All the links to my Twitch, all my socials, Twitter, Instagram, everything, all in the description down below. Go ahead and follow that for notifications when I go live or just up-to-date content, like I said. All right, let's dive into this. And the one thing that we do before each video is we just go to our tasks on to-do list. And right now we're looking at batteries. We do need batteries in order to make our laser turrets. But then we also need to do our advanced oil processing. And I think that's what we're going to do for today. Let's go ahead, head to our mall, and let's grab everything that we need. Actually, before that, let's plan out where everything is going to be. So right now we have our refineries right here. Everything's looking nice and dandy. We got a little space here, and then we also got, some space up here. I'm thinking we got enough room underneath here. I like seeing our chemical plants and all of that stuff underneath. So I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna add another. No, actually, we don't have enough oil processing over here to add another refinery column, so we're gonna make do with what we have, because this little oil field doesn't even come close to how much we need. So we're not gonna add any more refineries, but we are gonna need a bunch of chemical plants. So we're starting off with 30 there. I think we're gonna need more, so let's go ahead and grab everything else that we need. We got pumps, which is great. We're gonna probably need water if we haven't already. Oh, and I had extra ones. We're probably going to need water if I haven't put a water pump in there already. We're going to need a bunch of underground pipes, a bunch of the regulars, and let's double check in our car to see if we have any room here. So we got a bunch of pipes. We got a bunch of the regular pipes. That's good to go. These factories real quick are going to be making our speed modules that are going to be direct inserting into our other ones. Okay, so let's go ahead and take as many as we can. We're going to need a bunch. And then let's take the rest of the chemical plants, and then let's go ahead and start making all this. And one thing about making all the advanced oil processing and all about that, there's a lot of math involved, number one, but because of all the pipes needed, sometimes you want to hold off until you have robots in order to, speed things along. But honestly, we need oil so bad that I'm not really going to wait. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to make a little blueprint right here. I'm going to add just a little pipe there. I'm going to delete that later, but I just want to make something tileable. So this is going to be our input for our oil. And then this is going to be our heavy oil as well as our light oil right here. If I go ahead and switch the advanced oil processing recipe, we'll see that we have water here, heavy oil here, and light oil here. Actually, what I'm going to do, let me just copy everything out. It'll make it a lot easier going forward. And for some reason, I forgot to put lights all the way through. So I'm going to do that as well going back. All right, put our lights so that we can see, because doing all this in the dark is not that fun. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and copy down our recipe. We're gonna make sure that we don't get that light right there, but we'll get all the underground stuff, and we're actually gonna press no. Let's cancel that because I don't want this power pole in there. So let's go ahead and restart that. There we go. We got all the pipes, and we're just gonna copy and paste that all the way down so that all the ghosts are set. and we know exactly how all the pipes are going to lay out. And that's the first thing we're going to do is we're going to set all the pipes for our refineries, and then we're going to deal with all the math, all the ratios after these pipes are set. Okay. One thing that we will need is we will need some water. I like to bring in 2 pumps for water, one for our refining, and then another pump for the bus and the chemical plants. So I think we should actually, no, I got water for the bus here. So let's bring down two pumps of water, one for just the refining, one for just the refining, and then the other one just for the chemical plants. It's okay to have a little bit of overkill. That's fine. Where's our car? Yeah, let's go to our car over here. That'll be a lot quicker. All right. We might have to move that tank a little bit, but we'll go ahead and figure all of that out once the time comes. Okay. Actually, how much water does this actually need? I can't. No, not check it there. Let me check it here. It needs 50 water per second. So for every 5 refineries, so we have 20. So we need to multiply this by 4. So we need 200 water per second. And the pumps I think do 1200 per second, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 1200. So actually, we just need one. We just need one. 2 is going to be overkill. Let's go ahead and we'll just bring this whole line up. Uh-oh, and we're running into trees. Our worst nightmare. Honestly, the trees are the real bad guys in this game. The biters are fine. The biters you can shoot. Trees, on the other hand, are a lot more annoying. Oh, that perfectly goes over. Nice. Okay. I'm gonna add a little turn here. That should be the perfect path. All right, let's go ahead and get our water pump. This is going to be our water. Boom. Okay. So now that we got our water situated, that's all good. And you might have noticed that I offset it a little bit because we're going to use water in our chemical plants as well. And you know, you don't want to just put it straight into your refineries because then you got to branch off again and then come down. All right, so there we go. And then I'm gonna place down all my regular pipes first. Actually, I'm gonna delete this connection so that we hold off on actually producing anything. All right, and this is a little tedious. I might fast forward just a bit, but this is essentially what you do going down. And then going back, we're just gonna pretty much alternate for the water. And you might have to kind of skip and go down, but and you'll notice that the pipes switch direction at every click. So if you do it in the right pattern, you can just click without having to manually rotate it. You can also drag. That's what I'm doing in the middle ones. I'm dragging. Whoops. And I messed up. I went too fast. Whoops. There we go. All right. And then I did forget to do this top part. So I'll go down and then I'll skip to when we're ready to do the chemical plants. All right, so we laid down all of our pipes, underground and regular, and we went through and did all of that. Now let's go ahead and start the process of, number one, calculating how much oil that we need to change into petroleum. Number two, also oil changing into lubricant. Number three, just having a good clean layout. Everything is organized. That way, you know, we don't get confused with all the piping. And also we leave room to expand later. That's key. All right, so if we are going to expand, I assume that we're gonna put the refineries up here and then keep the chemical plants down here. That would just be my preference. Okay, so since this heavy oil is further out than this petroleum, I might go ahead and just scooch this a tad. Is that the max that it can be? It is. No, that's okay. And then when you delete this tank, that is all petroleum gone. So we're really starting from scratch, it seems like. All right, well, let's put the tank here with the pump, and then let's make sure that we can clear this and clear this as well. So that's the max for the heavy. We're gonna have to bring this petroleum tank a little bit closer because that's gonna be the max for the light, and then the max for the petroleum is gonna go here. And I actually need a little bit more room for a pump. I need another one. Okay, so this petroleum is gonna be right here. But do I really need it to be that close? I might wanna switch these. I might wanna switch this. Yes. Because I want the petroleum to be the last thing that leaves. And I'm fine with having it like here. So 1, 2 for the pump. There we go. I'm fine with having it there. Also with Factorio, you have a bunch of room, so might as well use it. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna place the other stuff like so. Let's make sure that this breaches. It does. Okay. So it's a little bit spread out, but honestly, with pipes and everything like that, you want to leave a little bit more room. All right, so the first thing that we want to do is check the recipe. How much are we making? So every 5 seconds, one assembler makes 25 heavy oil, 45 light oil, and 55 petroleum gas. Now, I like to do things. So with the kind of 5 at the end, like 25, 45, 55, a lot of the processes that we see are going to be using up resources in terms of 10. So for example, 30 water, 30 light oil, 30 water, 40 heavy oil. So they're all in multiples of 10. So we want to try and get a little multiple of 10 instead of 5, which will help with the ratios a tad better. So that's why I went with 20 refineries. It's a really nice multiplier to work with. So with 20 refineries, you basically multiply this recipe by 4 because there's a 5-second crafting time. So 5 refineries will make one of these products, right, per second. So since we have 20, we multiply each of the products that we receive by 4. So in total, we'll get 100 heavy oil, 180 light oil, and 220 petroleum gas, right? 25 times 4 is 100, 45 times 4 is 90 times 2, which is 180, and 55 times 4 is 110 times 2 is 220. Okay, math. I had to do a little double take there. All right, so what we're gonna do is the first thing that we want to convert is going to be our heavy oil. Now, heavy oil is going to be used as lubricant as well as being converted into light oil. So what I want to do is I want to add these pumps here, and you'll see why in a second. But for now, let's go ahead, bring that up, and then where are our chemical plants? Perfect. That's good there. Let's add a power pole. And then let's select that. And then we'll add all of our stuff right like that, like so. Okay, so right now this is tileable. Let me connect that to power. Okay, so the recipe for lubricant. Lubricant is used in things like blue circuits, blue belts, and a couple. I think those are the only two. If I'm missing one, I am missing one. I can't think of it off the top of my head, but they're used for advanced processing and assembling. So, the heavy oil, it consumes 10 heavy oil per second and produces 10 lubricant per second. In this case, we're just worried about consumption because we want to consume the petroleum, heavy oil, and light oil at the same rate. Or maybe not consume petroleum, but we want to consume the light oil and the heavy oil at the same rate, because if one of them gets backed up, then it'll stop the production of petroleum. And petroleum is the number one thing that we want in our factory because that makes the most. So we want, and heavy oil is the only thing that makes lubricant. So, but heavy oil can also be used to make light oil. So when we have enough lubricant, we want to use all of our heavy oil to recycle into light oil. However, when we don't have enough lubricant, we want all of our heavy oil to be used into making lubricant. Okay? So it's either or. There's not going to be any splitting of the heavy oil. Okay? And that's what we're going to go with for the ratios, and that's why we have two pumps so that we turn them on and off depending on what we need. And you'll see that in a second. But for right now, we'll just go off of the ratio. So like we said, our recipe produces, in this case, 100 heavy oil every second, right? Just 100 heavy oil. So we have to consume 100 heavy oil when we're producing the lubricant. So right now we have two chemical plants and they're each consuming 10 per second. So right now, so in total, we need 10 of these chemical plants to consume 100 heavy oil. Now let's use a deconstruction planner. We got 10, perfect. Awesome. We will add our pipes. And then last but not least, we will add our lights. And then let's go ahead, add the output pipes. Oops, it's an extra one. Okay, and now that will output to another tank. Let's put that here. And then we'll use a pump to output that and bring down to our main bus. Oops, a little bit too far. And I want that in line with the other stuff. There we go. Actually, I'll use the underground there because we can still walk through that. All right. So that's our lubricant setup. We are producing 10 heavy oil per second and we are consuming 10 heavy oil per second, right? Now, this is where our conditions are going to come through. Actually, no, before that, let's go ahead and consume the light oil for next. So in our recipe, we are producing 45 times 4 light oil. So that is 180 light oil per second. Let's go ahead, bring down our power, and then we will do the heavy oil to light oil recipe. And in this one, we need water. So we're gonna bring our water down. Can I fit it? No, I can't. But I can fit it through here. All right, that's bringing that down. And then our heavy oil is going to come through here. It's going to continue the water down. And then this is going to be our blueprint for the heavy oil. Perfect. And we're already running short on pipes. And then let me add one more power pole. There we go. That's our blueprint for the heavy oil to light oil. Now let's look at how many that we need. So we said before that we had 180 light oil being produced. Oh, no. We're not burning our light oil. We're burning the second part of our heavy oil. I'm sorry. Let's go back to that. So we have 100 heavy oil being produced per second. Okay. Sorry, that was confusing. And then each factory or each chemical plant will consume 40 heavy oil every 2 seconds. So 2 chemical plants will consume 40 heavy oil every 1 second. All right. So if we have 2 right now, and then we put down 2 more, that's 4. That'll consume 80, right? Now, what are we going to do with the extra 20? Well, if 1 chemical plant consumes 40 heavy oil every 2 seconds, it consumes 20 heavy oil every 1 second, right? So we're going to add 1 more of these. Okay. That math check out. Let's delete that power pole. We don't need that one. Perfect. And we're going to delete those pipes because we don't need them on the end. Perfect. Okay, now this little thing is going to consume all of our heavy oil when lubricant is not being made. All right, and it'll produce into light oil. All right, now what we're going to use are wires. And I didn't bring any, so let me make a little bit of each. And now wires are used to have circuit conditions. And in Factorio, circuit conditions are huge in automating your factory, right? So we want to go based off of how much lubricant that we are producing. And this is going to be the tank that's going to be storing it, right? So let's connect a wire from the tank to a power pole, and then from the power pole to each of the pumps, right? And like we said, we want the heavy oil to go down this lane when lubricant is not full, right? And these tanks hold 25,000 fluid. So what I want to do is I want to set this condition as it'll enable this pump to pump that way when lubricant is less than, let's go 24,000, just because 25,000, once you set it to like the absolute max, it gets a little finicky. So we'll set it to 24,000, right? So when lubricant is less than 24,000, it'll make more lubricant down this line and turn this one off, right? We will activate this one when lubricant is greater than or equal to 24,000. And we have to add the or equal to in at least one of them, right? Because if we just had this is less than 24,000 enable, and this is greater than 24,000 enable, if we have a condition where there's exactly 24,000 fluid in this tank, none of the pumps will work. So we have to have an or equal to in at least one of them. You can decide which one, it doesn't matter. All right, so if it's greater than or equal to 24,000, it'll pump it up and make that heavy oil into light oil. All right, we forgot our lights, so let's go ahead and do that. Okay, now let's move on to light oil. And we're gonna, even though these will be making light oil, we're gonna add that on the end. We're gonna solely focus on this light oil first, and then we can add on afterwards. So these 20 refineries will make, like I said before, 180 light oil, okay? So we need to convert that light oil into petroleum. Let's go ahead and we will select that recipe. And this recipe also needs water. Now, if we look at the recipe in order to make petroleum, it consumes 30 water and 30 light oil every 2 seconds, right? So what was the number that we needed? We needed to consume 180 light oil per second that the refineries make. So now that we got two of these chemical plants set up, both of them together will consume 30, right? So if we want to consume all 180, we need to divide 180 by 30, which is 6, right? I'm not mistaken. 30 times 6 is 180. Okay. So we need to copy this format 6 times. Okay, so we need 12 total. All right, let's add our light and we'll copy this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because we already had the 1. And that should be 12 chemical plants. Yep. All right. So that takes care of the light oil only from the refineries. Now we got to remember that the heavy oil that we're going to be producing is also going to be fracked into light oil. And we also need to convert that into petroleum if these are running. So let's go ahead back to our recipe for heavy oil to light oil, right? We have each 2 chemical plants produce 30 light oil, right? So this is producing 30, this is producing 30, and then this is producing 15, okay? So we got 30, 60, 75, okay? Now 75, let's go back to our light oil to petroleum. We basically need the same amount as here, right? Because these are making 30 and these are consuming 30. So we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 additional chemical plants to account for when this is turned on. So let's go ahead, go back here. That's 2, 4, and 5, but I'll delete this one back here. All right, so that should be how many chemical plants? 17 chemical plants that are turning light oil to petroleum. There we go. And then on this first pass, I'm going to just put the straight pipes on, and then I'll put the undergrounds as well, and I'll skip ahead to when that's done. All right, so that should be it. I finished up all the underground pipes, regular pipes. We did run out of those pipes and lights as well, so I went down, got some more, and got some more chemical plants just in case. You never know. But that should be it for advanced oil processing. Now, let's go ahead, make our checks. I went ahead and added this output of petroleum to the plant. We have our water here, and then we are just missing our light oil. So let's go ahead, bring down our light oil. The light oil is also going to be brought into here. Oh, no, not there. There we go. So the light oil will join with this output as well, and then go into this as an input. And then everything is being either produced into lubricant or petroleum oil, which are stored in these 2 tanks right here. All right, so let's go over the checks. So as the recipe stated, we're multiplying everything by 4 since we have 20 refineries and the refineries have a 5-second craft time. So 100 heavy oil, 180 light oil, and we're not really concerned about the petroleum gas. We're converting everything into petroleum and consuming that in the factory, so we're fine with that. So just the heavy oil and light oil, 100, 180. All right, heavy oil being consumed here at 10 per second per chemical plant. We have 10 chemical plants, that's 100 heavy oil, check. And that heavy oil is going to be used until this tank of heavy oil gets at or above 24,000. All right. And then once that's filled, that heavy oil will be brought down and consumed here. So we still would use, or still would consume 100 heavy oil, right? So for every two plants or two chemical plants, we are consuming 40 heavy oil. So we need 5 to consume 100. If you need my math, go back, rewind a little bit to when I was actually setting up. So that's 5 plants. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect. And that produces light oil. Now we need to burn the light oil being produced by our refineries and the light oil being produced when these are turned on. Now let's go over the check for just the refineries. We were producing 40 light oil, or not 40, 180 light oil, right? So every 2 chemical plants burns 30 light oil every second. Every 2 plants burns it 30 times per second, right? So we need 6 times 2 chemical plants. 6 times 2 is 12. Let's go ahead with our 12. There we go. We got 12. Now, this is producing 30 per second every 2 plants. This is burning 30 per second every 2 plants. So in order to burn off whatever this is producing in light oil, we need to add 5. So we need 12 to burn the light oil produced in refineries and 5 to burn the light oil produced in these. So we need 17 in total. We drag over, we have 17 chemical plants making this recipe. We are greenlit. We are good to go. We did it. All right, so that is your advanced oil processing in a nutshell. It's all ratios, but if you follow this guide, this can be pretty much tileable. For every 20 refineries that you add, so if we wanted to expand upon this, we can add 20 refineries like back here, right? We would just need to add 10 more of these, 5 more of these, and double this, 17 more of this. And you could expand that. So for example, you could bring this lubricant down a ways. You can bring this heavy oil down a ways all the way. And then you could add another row of this light oil, because this light oil is going to be the longest row, right? So that's why I usually like to have the chemical plants go under and then refineries go over. For beginning transitioning into a mega base, you really don't need more than 40 refineries. That'll give you plenty of petroleum in order to get to the place where you need to be. 40, even maybe 60. If you want to multiply this by 3, that's completely doable. You won't really need, and we have enough space to do it, right? We can tile this 2 more times, this 2 more times, and add 2 more rows this way, and have 2 more rows of refineries up here. That's plenty of room, right? It's not mega base size, but it's definitely doable, and you just got to multiply everything by 2 or by 3, right? It's nice round numbers, and everything gets consumed at the same rate. Now let's go ahead and connect our water right here, and we should see everything start working perfectly. We'll get all 10 of these factories start working soon once these kind of fill up. And then these won't be working because we only have the pump going to making lubricant right here. And then technically all of these will work because we don't have a stopper. You can add a stopper, you can add a pump, but whether or not you have 12 working at 100% efficiency or 17 working at slightly lower, like 80 or 85% efficiency, they're still going to produce the same amount in the long run. So it doesn't matter if you have a stopper or not. So that's why they're all working. They're all bringing the petroleum here. And now the reason why we want to burn everything, or burn the light oil, or not burn, but consume the light oil and the heavy oil at the same rate, is because what really matters in our main base is petroleum. So everything will stop once there's a petroleum backup in the refineries. But you don't want an excess consumption of heavy oil or excess consumption of light oil, and you don't want that to be off balance, because you can get the situation where the production stops when you have a light oil backup, but then your factory keeps on consuming petroleum, but because there's a light oil backup, it won't produce more petroleum. You know what I'm saying? So that's why you want to consume the light oil and the heavy oil in exact ratios. And honestly, you could add maybe an extra factory in all of these just to make sure that you're burning more light oil and heavy oil than you are petroleum, right? But then again, like even if you add a little bit, that would then throw the consumption of light to heavy burn rate. So just leave it at the exact total and you should be fine. All right, that should be it. I mean, we'll bring down the lubricant down in our next playthrough, but I wanted to just dedicate 100%. I wanted to dedicate a video just on the oil processing, the advanced oil processing, right? Just so that you guys can watch this video, rewind it if you need to, and you have all the math there, right? It's super straightforward once you actually break it down. But if you like the content, I'd really appreciate a like. I'd really appreciate it if you hit the subscribe button. That really does help me, and it helps, you know, notify me what kind of content you guys like to like, or not like to like, but like to watch. I do stream every Thursday and Sunday over on twitch.tv/Bedivere. So if you have more questions about these ratios, about why I set up my oil processing the way I do, or even any other questions on any other strategy games that I might play, I don't just play Factorio. Just come hang out. You can ask me in chat down there, or just hang out. You know, I like interacting with people, and I like learning about my community and meeting you guys. But yeah, that's gonna be all for me. I really appreciate you guys stopping by, hitting that thumbnail, and spending this time with me. I'll catch you on the next one. Have a good one.